Randy Fertel's been on the road selling this book. He wins the award for the most unlikely title of any memoir published, The Gorilla Man and the Empress of Steak. He came to Coral Gables to Books and Books, which is the opposite number of the great square books up here, you know, and read, and we had a lot of friends in common, and his voice got caught in my ear. Him telling his own story. And not only does he get into his extraordinary family and this lawsuit after lawsuit and stake after stake, but he peeled back a layer of New Orleans that I didn't know existed. It was just extraordinary.
My mother, it was the famous Ruth of Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, founded this empire of restaurants in 1965. And my father was as infamous as she was famous because he ran for mayor in New Orleans in 1969 on the platform that the zoo needed a gorilla. And he was happily known as the Gorilla Man for the rest of his life, so hence my title, The Gorilla Man and the Empress of Steak. Basically, I went to books to try to figure out, I was getting no parenting, basically. My mother was too busy and my father was too nuts. And so I just loved to read, and I found in books a kind of moral compass. Before he was the Gorilla Man, my dad was just a rich guy without much direction and with lots of time on his hands. He believed travel was the best teacher, and because he needed a companion, I got to tag along. Surprisingly, travel was for Dad a way of closing rather than opening doors. Dad traveled in order to develop new prejudices. By the time we hit Basel, Switzerland, he added a new twist. The Swedes, he announced, are very rigid. Dad, they're Swiss. The Swedes are very rigid. No, Dad, they aren't Swedes. The Swedes live in Sweden. In Switzerland, it's the Swiss. They don't care what I call them. The response I get from a whole lot of people is, Randy, you're just one of us. You know, it's a little more extreme, your family's a little more dysfunctional, but we all come from dysfunctional families, and we're all part of the same community. You know, we're all flawed and damaged, but we can come out of it in ways that you can be proud of.